be building a simple landing page. So what we'll do now is to build a simple landing page with what we already have here. Of course, we'll move back to the index so that we know we are at the first page. So as we build the landing page, you will get to see how you use design here and how you use styling. So basically, that is it. Okay. So the landing page we're building is what we have here. Basically. So we'll build this and see how to use that design tool that we've been talking about. So I believe you should be on this page with me already. This is the work environment. It would be nice to make it a bit bigger. A reason for making it a bit bigger is so that we'll be able to contain more things in one screen. We don't have to start expanding it eventually or stuff like that. Okay, so let's make this 1400 like that. That it's really wide. Let me make sure that we are in 100% screen. This should be okay. All right, so we just set this to 1400. We could set this to custom, column like that. And for the height, we can leave it at this, but we want the height to expand continuously eventually. So at later points we can set this to 0, but for now let's keep it at 1000. All right. And that is it. So let's start. This is what we're building out. So the first thing we need is we need a nav bar at the top, right? So let's go back here, and now if you're coming from maybe front end background or full stack background, you know that there are things we do in HTML, like we use it in grouping things we are doing. So here it's simply called group. So we have group focus, floating group, but the one we want is actually group. We also have repeating group, but we'll come to that later on. So once you drag it and drop it here, you usually have a name given to it. So because it's the first group is group A, but we want to change this to group navigation. So it's easy to locate anytime we want to use it. And for the height, we can give it a fixed height. We can give it a fixed height of maybe 100. Let's see, 100. So it just come down a little bit. Now this settings pop-up that comes up has 3 tabs. So the first one is appearance. This is where you do all sort of manipulation about how it should look. Then this is the layer that shows how that particular group should be laid out, or how things in the group should move around. So for example, here in the container layout, it could be column, it could be row, it could be aligned to parent or fixed. You use column when you want to stack things on each other, and use row when you want to set things on the same line. All right, so we can set it at row. Row is fine. There are other settings you can play around with gradually, but let's come down a bit and then let's give it a fixed height. All right, so let's make this fixed width, and then let's keep it at 100%. So at 100% it stretches all over. Now you could also make it stretch all over without making it a fixed width or stuff. You could just set everything to 0 and you're fine. Everything works like that. Now let's come down to the height. Here in the height, we could set a fixed height, or we could leave it like this and just set a minimum height. For example, you can set it at 100 and you see it drops down for you. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to put in this we want to put in the logo. So here I say Lando. So what we need is maybe take like a text or take a link. Anyone would work. So either you take a text or you take a link. All right, so for our case, what should we do first? Okay, we could pick a link and put it in here, and then we'll style it the way we like. Of course, we usually make our logo very, very clickable. All right, so let's use that. We'll use text in other places so that you see how that works. So for now, let's use link, and then we'll style it to what we want. So let's change the text to Lando. All right, something you should also get to know is that generally text here has enter as I think that it's enter. Let's go to styles, and then let's see link. So here is the link, and there's a lot of links that you can pick from. But when you come to this side, this is what I wanted to show you. Where is the font family? Okay, good. So this is the font family. You could change it as you please, actually, from here. So it could just be anything you choose, but we'll just stick to Inter. All right, so let's go back to our design. So we've already changed this to Lando. Now we want to also increase the size, make a few adjustments here and there. Okay, so here you could choose different kind of stylings, like you could choose dark primary. You could choose a filter, field destruction. Sorry, that field dark destruction, destructive rather. You could choose the outline and all those good stuff. All right, but what we want is something custom. So because we are looking for something custom, we need to create a different design from what we already have here. Okay. So let's go back to the default. So this is where we were. All right. So let's come back here. We want to first of all increase the size. So we could just come down here. If it was like text, you will see different texts hierarchy that you can pick from. Okay. So let's come here and really increase it. So here's, let's see 36. Okay. 36 seems really big. So let's make it maybe 24. 24 seems to be better. And then we also want to put it at the middle, like you will see here. It stays in the middle of each container. I'm thinking if this 100 height that I give is a little big, but it's fine. So let's come down to the layout part, and then here in the vertical alignment, the first thing here is top align, which is where it is. This is center align, this is bottom align, and then this is vertically stretched, or what we want is centered. So you see, as soon as you click on centered, it comes to the middle. Something else you will notice is that there are padding by the sides of this whole application, or this whole landing page. So what we can do is go back to the index. So here in the index, we could choose to set do the settings from here, but it is always better to have like a container that everything would live inside. So what we can do is to pick another group which will pass in this group. All right, so we can pick another group. So this can happen just in any way that you want. You can pick another group and then move this group inside of it, something like that. Let's make sure it's inside. That didn't work as I wanted. So we just, this group navigation, and this is the group we're talking about. So we want it to be inside of this. Okay, so it comes inside, and then we could now make this group be like group container, something like that. All right, now what we can do here now is to set a padding. We can set a padding. So we'll just come down inside of the layout. We are in the layout. Set a padding for left and right. So here we can set 10. Okay, we set 20 and 20. Now you notice that immediately we set the 20. It gives like some sort of shade by the size here. Okay, for that I think the 20 is really small based on what we have here. So let's make it 100. 100. I think this is better based on what we have here. Okay, and that should align properly for every part. So you could choose to do this. If we didn't want to do like use the group container, we probably would have done this padding for each one. But since the padding runs through all of them, there's no need doing it repeatedly over and over again. Okay, all right, so that's it. We've been able to set the logo. Something else we can do is to change the color of the logo. So let's go back here, and then let's do detach style, and then we'll now do our specific style, something like that. So let's set it to black because we want it to be black. And if I want to repeat this particular styling in somewhere else, I would just like create a new custom style here. We'll see if we do this eventually. Okay, so we've been able to set the logo. So the next thing we want to do is set this group of links. Okay, so when you come here, we have a link. So let me raise this up a bit. So we have links. So we could use this link to create multiple links and then group them together. So we'll just drag the link and drop it here. Okay. And we'll style the link the way we'll love it. So as we've seen here, the link is usually black, but if it is active, it is blue. So all we'll do here is maybe we do a hover effect to make it blue, something like that. So here, let's change the text here and make this home. All right, and I think the size is all right. It's okay. And then let's change the color to black. So let's come down here, change it to black, which is good. And then now that we have that, I think that's all. So let's come to the conditional tab. So in this conditional tab, this is where you set conditions on what to do at different times. So for example, we want to do something when this particular link is hovered. So we could just set for hovered and see, okay, this link. So let's start with this link is hovered. So it's hovered. So when this link is hovered, what do we want? So what we want is to change the color, font color. So let's select the font color. We want to change the font color. What do we want to change the font color to? We want to change the font color to this blue that we have here, the primary blue. It seems dark, but let's try it first of all. So once we have that, then I think we are good to go. So what we can do next is to have multiple of this link and change the name, since everything is the same. So we have pricing, about us, and contact. So let's copy it and paste it. So let's paste it multiple times. Now everything will look better in a minute, but let's change the name. So here's pricing. The next one is about us. Then the next one is contact, like that. Contact us. That's fine. So now that we have this stacked up like this, so we can select all of them. All right, and then we want to make sure that all of them are in the middle. So once we click on the middle, they all come to the middle, and then we want to combine all of them inside of a container so that we can manage them as one, right? So we'll just right click and then we'll say we want to group elements in. Now if you group them in column container, they'll be stacked on each other. So we want them in row container, so we just group them in row container. And then here in the width, we want this to fit the width of the content. So it is already taking up a long width here, everything here, but I want it to fit the width of the container. So we'll just come here and check this box, fit width to content. See, so the width is now fit to the content. Let's also rename this and make it group links, like that. That's cool. And then when we come back here, we notice that this navigation bar is segmented basically into two. So we have this on the left and this on the right. So what we can do now is to just separate this group from this what's the name, this brand name. So to do that, we'll come to the group navigation. Okay, so let's click on the group navigation. Not the group navigation, sorry. We could group these two into the same thing. So now that we have the link lando, that is the logo. So let's combine the group now, and then we'll give it a bit of space between. So here we'll click on the group, the link lando, and then the group links like this, and then we want to combine them into a row container too. So let's combine elements into a row container, like so. So nothing really changes at this moment, but we could change this to group left, like that. All right, now that we've changed this to group left, all right, let's come down a little bit here inside of the layout, and let's say also that I want to fit width to content. So now that we have this, we can come up here and say we want to apply gap spacing between elements so that we can separate this lando from these other ones that we have here. Okay, so let's come down here and check this apply gap spacing between elements, and then here in the columns one, we can set this to 20 and see there's now a space. We could increase that space if we want to like 50. I think that's better. Then let's come back let's come back inside of the group links that we have here, and then let's spread out the links too. Okay, so let's come back here and say we want to apply space, and then we want to make this 20. I think 20 should just be fine. So notice that they have gone their separate ways now. This looks good. This looks good based on what we have here. We could also choose to spread it out a bit more and make this 30. All right, so that is great, and that is cool. The next thing we need to do is now do a third group. So the group that will have these two, so we'll make it group right. All right, so let's come back here, and we'll need buttons to do that. Okay. All right, so where are we? Let's get a button. So we've gotten the button, so we'll have the button now. And remember that we'll have two buttons. One is login, sorry. One is sign up. Okay, so let's work on the sign up one first. So here in the label, let's change it to sign up. Okay, and then we could expand this a little bit. So let's come to the layout. So let's give it some sort of padding around it. Let's give it some paddings around it. Okay, so let's come down here. There's already a padding of 2020 by the sides. We could increase that to maybe 40. Okay, that looks good. Or let's make it 30. That looks okay. Then let's make this 32, and then for the top and bottom padding, let's see if we add a 10 what we have, and that looks good too. So 10 like that. So we now have it properly set up. Let's come back to the appearance tab. This is where we apply some sort of radius. So here we'll call it roundness. So let's make this 10. I think 10 is visibly okay. For the color, we could choose to make this a bit bright like we have there. So I think this works just fine. So something like this works. Okay, and now that we've completely set this up, we could now come here and say want to create a new style based on what we have styled up here. Okay, so let's come here and let's say detach style, and then let's create a new style. So let's create a new style and then name it what we want. So I could name it site button. I'll just use BTN for short, blue, something like that, and create it. So anytime I now want to create a different button, I could just come and reuse this button that I have created. Now this is like a shortcut that I just used to create this, but you could also come here and create this style by yourself. So everything here gives you the liberty to create more and more styles. Okay, so here is the buttons, and inside of the button, this is the site button that we have just added, okay, alongside other buttons that are here. So you see how we can use the style components that we have here, or style tab rather. So now that we are done with this, the other thing we want to do is to make sure that this is in the middle, like this, and then we want to duplicate the button. This is the sign up button. The first one is supposed to be login button, so let's change this to login. I think this is better change from here. Login like that. Okay, so now that we've changed that, we could come back here and rename it to login like that. Now I want to make it transparent like this. So we could come down here and pick something that is transparent. So let's see link light primary, something like this. That's okay. Or we could go back and just get rid of the background. So I think getting rid of the background makes more sense. So let's come down here. So the background color, let's change it to white. So I think this is white. Is that white? It's looking like gray. So let me white, it should be FFFF. So let's 1 2 3 4 5 6. That should give us white. So that is it. That works perfectly. Okay, all right, so that gives us that white background, but we also need to change the font color. So let's change the font color to black, so that makes it cool. And there should be no border, no outline, no border. So that's Let's see. I think there's no border, so the border is none, but roundness is there, so that's cool. That should work perfectly for us. So now that we've completely set this and it looks good, let's group these two buttons that we have now. Let's group them and make them into a row container like this, okay? And then we'll group this and say group right, something like that. And then we want to move this to the other end, or this end. Yeah. All right. So for us to do that, we'll come to the layout here in the row. We want to move it to the right, so right align. So once we do that, it moves it to this other end. And the other thing we can do is to check this apply gap spacing between elements, and then let's make this 30. So that looks okay based off on what we have here. So I think that's fine. We've been able to completely create the navigation bar, and it's looking good. So for us to test what we've done, we just need to do the preview like this, okay? So let me make sure this is working just as it should be. Okay, that's fine. All right, so everything is cool. So let's test out what we've done so far. So let's click on the preview, and so you should overwrite whatever was here in our preview from the last time. And this is it. This is exactly what we have. There's a bit more space here from what I'm seeing. We can work on this, or we could leave it that way. It looks fine. So let's come back here, come to this layout and reduce this spacing to 20. So once we reduce the spacing to 20, immediately tells us that our page has been updated, so we need to do a refresh. So you could just click on this and the refresh will be done. Okay, and then we could get rid of this bar at the top since we don't need it now, so we disable that, and our page is coming in nicely. This is our landing page getting started. Okay, and notice that if you hover over it, we have the blue. The only thing that is added here is the underline. We can remove that, and we can also change this color to the font color to white on hover like that. So let's see if we can work a bit on that. So let's go back here and let's click on the home link, select it. Let's go to the conditional here, and then something we need to add after the font color is decoration. We want to remove any underline. So underline, we don't want any underline. Okay, so let's try that and see how it works. So let's go back here, do a refresh. When we hover on it, notice that there is no underline, but there's underline here. Okay, so we'll just add that to the rest of them like that. So you come here, you put underline, here the same thing, just put the underline, and don't check it. Now if you check this, then that means you want the underline to be there, but we don't want the underline to be there. So let's do it for the last one. Add the underline like that, don't check it. Then back here for the login, let's go to the conditional on hover. The button is hovered. When the button is hovered, this is the background, and then the font color, we want it to be white. All right, white. So let's come here and change it to any of these light one, or we could just do the F. So that should work. I think that is white. I think that is white. That didn't work as I want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be 6 in number, and that is it. So it changes to white, and that's great. So let's go back here and do a refresh. So now when you hover, you have this changing to white like that, and when you hover on all these ones, you have them change to blue. All right, so that works. Okay, this is still showing on the line, so let's also work on this. So let's just add it to the conditional on hover. So on hover, let's get rid of it like that. All right, so we're making progress. Great. We've been able to complete this whole navigation bar, and that really looks cool. So the next thing we want to add is this hero section. All right, so as usual, we need to add a group into what we're doing, So here's the group navigation. I want to also add another group. So let's drag and drop a group inside of here. Now notice that it is outside of the main group that we want. So we want to pull it and move it inside of this group. So as soon as we move it up, we are able to enter into it, and you notice that the whole padding works as it should be. So group main, like that. And something we can do is to maybe add some sort of padding if we want between the content of a particular group. So for example, when you come here, you could say apply space, gap spacing between element, that is if we need it, and then you could just add say something like 20. I noticed that it drops a bit, but we don't want that. Let's get rid of it. Okay. Now inside of here, we are going to be dividing this group into two, so it will be like 50%, 50%. We'll grab an image too and put in. So let's start arranging this. Okay. So inside of here, we'll put in yet another group. So one will be group of text, and the other one will be group of image. Okay. So let's drag the group and put it inside of here. Now it's taking up the whole space. We could just say group text or group hero text. That is better. And then we want it to take only 50% of that whole space. Okay. So just for the time being, let's add a background to help us understand the divide that we are doing. So you see I've put in red here so that you understand the divide. Now this is too thick. I'll just pick something. I'll just reduce the percentage to 30% so that it's a bit light and we can work on it for now. There's something else we can just come back to the layout and then change the width to be 50%. Okay, so let's come back here and say we want this to be fixed width. Okay, and then change this to percentage, so that takes 40%. Now we can change this now to 50%, so it takes 50%. So let me get rid of this. So now that we have this, we now have this taking up only half of that group. We could copy and paste this and then change the second one to hero image like this. So now that I have it to be hero image, I could also change the background so that you know that what we are doing is different, like that. So 30% too. And then for this container, it is a column aligned, that's vertically aligned. But what we want, or what we prefer, is to make this container layout to be row. So once we make it row, you notice that they are now both on the same line. Okay. Now that we have this properly set up for us, we could remove this background color that we initially put here. Okay. So let's go back to the appearance and get rid of this. So let's just make this none, and that's all. So what next? Let's come here. There is this first text that is free 30 days trial. Let's put that immediately. Free 30 days trial. So let's pick a text, drag it and put it inside of here, and then it's supposed to be free 30 days trial. All right, and I think that's looking good. What we could do is come down a bit and see if we could make a bit of an adjustment, but I think this is just fine. All right, so let's just raise the style to body 18. By the way, all these styles have been set up here in our style, so you could choose to make changes to all these style for text, for image, for whatsoever. So I'm just using the default style. Okay, then the next text is the best way to showcase your project. So let's pick yet another text and put it under it like this. All right, and we say the best way to showcase your project. Okay, so let's come back. The best way to showcase your project. So this would be arranged on one line, but we could drop it down a bit. The best way. Okay, so let's bring down from the way here like this. Sorry, and drop it. Let's also drop after this showcase like this. Great. So just as it is here. Now the other thing we need to do is to make this text really big. Okay, So let's see how big we could get. So 2, heading 2. Let's, even the heading 1 is not as big as I would expect. So we could actually adjust the font, the size by ourselves. So let's see if we can make this like a 70. Okay, looking better. The next text we have here would be here you can put a short description about your project. So let's grab a text and also put it inside of here like this. So it says here you can showcase the description. No, here you can put a short description about your project. Okay, here you can put a short description about your project. So I'm typing this out because that's an image. I didn't download it. I would have just extracted it, but it's fine. So now that we have this set up, I think the next thing we also need to put in here would be the try for free and see how it works. So let's drag a button into this. So you could just put it here. We'll bring it down eventually. So let's drag it back inside of here. Let's put it back here. Okay. And now the first thing there is try for free. So let's come here and do try for free. Then the second button would be see how it works. See how it works. So we'll have that set up, and then now we'll start with the whole styling that we'll need. We'll make more adjustments, but this place will also help us to see how we can reuse a component we've created before. All right, great. Something you notice is that there's some plenty space at the top here. So we need to go back to the main group here. So here in the main group, we need to add like we could just add a padding top. So let's go back to the layout. Sorry. Here in the layout, we could just add like 30 pixels. Doesn't seem plenty. Let's make it 50. All right, so I think that is okay for now. We'll make more adjustments as time passes by. All right. Now inside of here, we'll just add a few space between all the text. So we'll group the text. So let's group them. This, and this. We'll just group them into a column container. So this is a column container. Makes sense. And then we could say group hero main text. Sorry, text. So we could just come here in the layout, we apply some gap spacing and put it at 20. It looks good. And for this text, let's make it a bit bigger. So let's come down here and we could make it like a heading 6. So I think that looks better. Great. Okay. So the next thing is these buttons down here. We want to add more space, and it's now looking like we didn't add enough space between our text. So let's go back here and let's rename this to hero text and buttons. So that's better. And down here inside of the group hero main text, just change this to group hero text, and then here in the spacing, let's make it maybe 30. When we review this, we'll see if that works just as we want. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, the next thing is these two buttons. So let's group the buttons too. So we'll just group them into a row container like that. So once you group them into a row container, they enter the same place. Okay, and then we want to work on these buttons. Now remember that the first one here is really blue and the other one is a plain background. So let's go to our settings here. So here in the appearance, we could change this to the site btn line that we made initially. Okay, so let's select it. I noticed that immediately it takes up the style that we had here in the sign up. Okay, now it's looking like we didn't save this style. So let's come back, click on this plugin, detach the style, and then here we want to create a new style using that login. So we'll just say site btn transparent, create it. Okay, so now for this other button, see how it goes. We could change this to site btn transparent, just like that. Okay, another thing we want to do is to add the spacing between both of them here. Okay, so we'll just come here and then select this and then add that group spacing here. So keep it at 20. That should be fine. And for the group, it should be group hero btn like that. Now let's select the group left, and then, so this is navigation. No, that's not what we're looking for. The group hero text and buttons, that's what we are looking for. Let's select it and then let's add some spacing between the text and the buttons. So we'll just come here, check this, and then let's add 30. 30 looks good, I think. Or should we make it 50? So let's try 50. All right, great. So with that, we've been able to set this up, and then the next thing is to put an image by the other side. So let's come here, which is the hero image part. Let's get rid of the background. So let's change the background style to none, and then let's drag an image icon into here. So as soon as you drag the image icon, you have this image. So let's change this image hero, something like that. And then you could choose to select an image from your computer. I don't think I have much images. Okay, so I think I have this, and it should show just like this until you choose to set it up the way you want. Or you could choose to remove this and then add what we call a dynamic image. So let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's go to a random image site. So let's do image. So as soon as you select the image, you should have different kind of images available for you. So let's open this in a new image tab, and then we could copy the link to this image like that. So copy image address, or you just copy what's inside of here. So if you copy what's inside of here, you come back to our tutorial here, and then inside of here you could just come into the dynamic image here and paste that link. Okay, so as soon as you paste the link, you notice that it now shows you the image that it has been linked to. Okay, all right. So the next thing we could do is to set the image up. So for example, we want this image to take up the whole width, so we could change this to 100%. So if you put 100 now, it takes up the whole width. And for the height, we could make the height to float any way we really want. So we could just say let's keep elements aspect ratio fixed, so something like this, and that should keep the right image the way it should be. Now we could also make sure that this is properly aligned inside of its container by making sure that it's vertically aligned. So I just make sure that both center and both horizontally and vertically, everything is properly aligned. We could also decide to add like some padding around it. So let's just add by the left and the right, just a bit. So come down here and you put 10, this other part you put 10 like that. That should be okay. Or should we make it 20? It looks like 20 would be a better option. Okay, great. All right, so that works. So let's see what we've done so far. Let's go back to our preview and do a refresh. Let's see how it comes out. So it comes out like this and like this. And I think this looks great, but the text spacing seems a bit too much. So let's make it a bit gathered like this. So let's pick the hero text, and then let's come here. My first guess is always right most times. Just second guess myself. So keep it at 20, and then for this one, come back to appearance here, and let's just go over our settings here. So here for the line spacing, let's reduce this maybe to 1. So I think it's better. So let's try to preview again. All right, so this looks better based on what we have. So I think this works just as it should be. So this one is supposed to have a border around it. So we could go and add it back. We're going to add it back. So let's go back here, and then we would have to detach the style eventually. Let's go to our border here. Okay, so we are taking solid like that. That's the width. So we'll just pick black. So that should work for us perfectly. Okay. Now, if you choose to define different borders for all of them, you could just come and check this box, but we don't want that. Now, I think that should be better when we do a refresh. So you see, now it has the border when we see it. So that's great. Cool. I think we're practically done. We could just add this final part just to showcase more things on this. But everything we've done so far is what you really need if you are building out a landing page. Okay. So let's just let's drag a group. So where's the group? So come down here, drag a group, put it down here. Now, when we put in this group, you'll notice that it stays outside the container. That's not what we want. So let's move it inside of its parent container. So let's drag this down, come into the layers, make sure this is properly closed off, and add this inside of here. So let's bring it down. Sorry, no, it needs to be outside. So put it out. Okay, so this is better now. No. Okay, so it's properly stacked inside now. So this we could just make a group text like that, and then for this group text we can give it some border around it so that we'll just have this text inside. Trusted individual and teams at the world's best companies, something like that. So inside of this, instead of group text, we could name it group companies, because it's not just text. So group companies, and then let's come here and pick the text, add into it. Not sure why it's not working the way I want it, so let's drag it back. Okay, great. So trusted by all kinds of company. That's what I'm going to write. All kinds of companies, like that. And then we could change the heading to what we want. So we could keep it at heading 3, which is quite large. Make it 4. Looks better. It looks better. Now let's give this some sort of padding. So let's come here and add padding top and bottom. So let's keep it at 30. All right, great. And then for this, let's make it center align like that, so that it goes to the middle. So let me drag this down. Trusted by all companies. I believe that heading is not too big, but let's still bring it down a bit. So let's take it to 5, heading 5. This should be perfect. Now the next thing we want to now do is to add a few logos and maybe the company name. So that's just what we'll do, and that'll be all for this landing page. Okay. So the first thing we want to put in would be the image, and then we'll now put in the text. Okay. So image company, like that. And then for this, we want to, let's pick an image I have inside of my system already. And then want to set like a fixed height and fixed width. So keep this at 200. Also make this fixed, make it 200, like that. That looks quite large. We don't want it to be that big. So it should be 100 by 100 by 100. So that's perfect. Then something else we could do is to come and see if we can add like a roundness to it. So the roundness, want to keep it at 10. This is nice, but not what I want. So let's make it at 50. So give it some sort of circle, and then let's add some text. And so let's say React, something like that. Okay. So now that we have this, let's group this into one container. So we'll right click, and so we are grouping it into a column container because once it's stacked on each other, come to the layout here and want to make sure that the content fits, or the width fits to the content. So that keeps everything together. Now for this React text, we want it to be at the middle like this, and then we want the text to be maybe a bit bigger than that, yeah. And then for this container, let's add a bit of spacing. Let's add a bit of spacing between the image and the text. So have 20, that's too much, sorry, 10, just something small. Let's get rid of this right at the front. So all right, so that works. For this group, we could say company details. So I leave the group at the front so that you know that this is a group or this is a text, stuff like that. So now that we have this, we could now duplicate it and change it. So copy and paste. Okay, so let's copy, paste, like that. We'll paste it more times. So we'll have 3. Let's make it 5. Okay, great. Now want to group all of them. So all right. I think I made some sort of mistakes, so let me undo some of this pasting that I've done already, and then let's group this group and paste like that. So we just want to paste it a couple of times and then group it by ourselves. So it was grouping itself, that was why I decided to go back on it and paste it. All right, so let's group all of them and then want to group them into a row container so that they all align together like this. And then here we want to change it to group companies logos, something like that, just to make it easy to identify. Okay, and then we want to apply some spacing, so apply this spacing between columns and put 20. That looks okay, but let's make it 13. I think that makes it better, and then move it to the center like that. Before we start changing any other thing, we also want to add some padding to the top and bottom, so we'll keep it at 20 like that. So this is way better. So you can now choose to start changing like the image. So we could pick multiple images from here. So open image in new tab, open image in new tab, open image in new tab, open image in new tab. Okay, these are all fine. Let's try them. So copy this and come here, paste it like that. We could just put some I. So this is whatever I choose to name it. So let me put view there like that. And for this, so let me close this off and then pick this, replace this like that. And for the image, select like that. The next one, let's copy this, paste it like that, and change the text to Angular. Okay, and for the last one, copy this, come back, override this, paste it like that. And for the text, change it to backbone. And that is it. So now we have trusted companies, and this is what a landing page would normally look like. So let's go check out what we've done so far, do a refresh and see how well we did. And that is beautiful. So that is it. This is what it will look like if if we're building a landing page, of course. So we could add some more spaces on top of the trusted one here, like that. Let me move this to the side. Let me add some more. So let's make this like a 50 like that. And then let's come back here to the index. All right, so let's do a refresh. Okay, and now let's come back to the group container. Remember that the group container comes with some sort of height. So I want to get rid of this like that. For the width too, let's get rid of everything. All right, so that's cool. So let's come back here and do a refresh, and everything is looking cool. So let me drag this away from you. So we'll have our navigation, we'll have our hero section, and we'll have the trusted by all companies section. Now, the other thing you would have noticed is the space we have under here, which we did not put. We actually put it in at the beginning because we wanted to have enough space to work with. So let's come back here, go back to the index. Now here in the index, remember that we set a mean height of 1000. So let's get rid of that height, get it to 0, so that that's not going to show up again. So when we refresh this time around, this space should be gone. So we're refreshing, and this is almost done. And that will be it with the landing page. So this looks very cool and looks like what we use for a landing page, of course. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching this section. The next section now would be building a CRUD application. This will help you to see how to really use workflows. So not just how to use the screen or the design. So we've done the design, which is cool. We'll see how to use workflows and all those good stuff, including how to use the data tab here. All right.